Your cleaning host does not want to see you naked or having sex, and I'm sure you don't want your cabin host to see you naked or having sex. So just, hey sailors, welcome back to Cruising as Crew. My name is Lucy, and today we are going to go through 12 things that if you're cruising, if you're a passenger, things that you shouldn't do in your cabin. Some of them are going to be self-explanatory, some of them are going to be a little bit more obscure, things you probably didn't even think of, or hopefully you didn't think of, but yeah, that's what we're going to go through today. So this video is going to be more geared towards people who are going to cruise. If you are someone who is going to work on a cruise ship, if you are an aspiring crew member or a crew member and you want to know more about working on cruise ships, then you can go over to my website cruisingascrew.com, which I will link down below, and check out my career guides, and it will give you all the information that you need about working on cruise ships. But as I said, if you are going on a cruise, then this video is for you. The first thing that you should refrain from doing in your cruise ship cabin is using an extension cord. Now I know that this can be tempting, especially if you go on a cruise on like an older ship and you have like one plug socket in the corner of the room, nowhere near a mirror or anything useful. So it's like, well, if I want to put my phone on charge, it's going to be all the way over there. If I want to dry my hair, I have to plug my hairdryer in where there's no mirror. So I know it can be so tempting to use an extension cord on cruise ships. I myself have been tempted when I have cruised on like P&O and stuff, but it's not a great idea. One, because it messes with the ship's electricals. Electrical systems on board work very differently to how electrical systems work on land. I'm not going to go into the details of it because quite honestly I don't know. So by plugging an extension lead in and then possibly overloading that extension lead, you could blow out the ship's electrical system, which wouldn't be great, but more importantly to you, you could ruin your appliances. When I worked on P&O, as I worked in the beauty shop and we sold a lot of hair straighteners, GHD hair dryers and stuff, people would come and they would purchase these hair straighteners and they would like go to use them in their room, even though we told them not to, with an extension lead, and they would come down and be like, they're broken. And we're like, did you use them with an extension lead in your cabin? They're like, yes. Well, that's why, because, and there's not some like great explosion, but they just don't work and they will never work. So one, it could ruin the ship's electrical system, but two, it could ruin your appliances. And this is also why you can't use really anything with a heating element unless it has been approved by the ships. Obviously you can use hair dryers and hair straighteners without an extension lead. You can plug it straight into the mains. However, you can't use like a kettle, a coffee maker, a steamer, an iron, unless it has been provided by the cruise ship. One, because what is the most dangerous thing to happen on a cruise ship? A fire. Because unlike when a fire happens on land and everyone can run away, if you're on a ship in the middle of the sea, there is nowhere to go. And obviously anything with a heating element has the risk of causing a fire, and especially if it is the wrong voltage. You know, best case scenario, the appliance isn't going to work. Worst case scenario, something's going to set alight and you could kill a lot of people. So that is the first thing. Just be careful with the electrical equipment that you bring on board, and just don't bring an extension lead, full stop. You're just going to have to deal with the plug sockets that you have in your room. Number two is don't stick anything to the wall. So let me elaborate. A few cruises ago we did a charter cruise, and obviously when it's a charter cruise, people are coming on board for a specific reason. There's a specific interest. So a lot of people like to decorate their cabins, decorate their cabin doors, which is fantastic. However, this one couple decided to decorate their cabin and their cabin door with lots of sticky stickers. Sticky stickers. It was like a double-sided tape thing, and everything was stuck to the wall through that. Now obviously I'm sure it looked fantastic, but then when it came to removing that, one, there was loads of shit left all over the walls, loads of sticky stuff. So the poor cabin host was like, great, I now have to spend all my day like scraping this sticky stuff off the wall. So it's not great for your cabin host, but also you will be charged. So this couple was charged. I think they were fined like £500 because, or $500 or something like that, because they had basically defaced the cabin. Like, it looked crap, and even when this cabin host was able to get all of the like sticky residue off the walls, like, you could see that someone had been scraping at the walls. So my advice, if you want to decorate your cabin, that is absolutely fine, but do it with things that are magnetic. All walls on board cruise ships are magnetic. I know this is a magnetic board. Everything is magnetic. So there is no need to decorate your cabin with sticky stuff. Get yourself some magnets. Get yourself some magnetic clips. These were actually given to me, which is so lovely. Get yourself some magnetic clips and hang your stuff up that way, because it's obviously not going to leave anything behind when you take your stuff with you. So please don't make extra work for the cabin host by sticking stuff to the wall, and don't get yourself a $500 fine when you can literally just... Number 3, you never want to flush anything down the toilet. So obviously when designing a cruise ship, everything is for space saving reasons, okay? When doing the plumbing for a cruise ship, again, it all has to work, but it needs to take up as little space as possible. So all of the piping is a lot slimmer than piping like sewage systems that you would find on land. This means that if you flush anything down the toilet, like wipes, sanitary products, it's gonna get blocked, like 9 times out of 10. And also the toilets are designed to take away human waste, which is taken to a sanitation point, which is filtered out, and then the liquid which has been sanitized is released into the sea, and then the feces are taken ashore. It's a lovely process, but the point is that is meant to be just, you know, water and human feces. There's not supposed to be wipes and tampons and all of that mixed in with that. So this is why you have the little bins in the bathroom. Do yourself a favour and just don't flush it down the toilet, just put it in the bin. It will save your toilet getting blocked, and also it's better for the cruise ship's systems. Number 4, make sure your do not disturb sign is on when you are showering and changing. Working on cruise ships, I have spoken to a lot of passengers on various cruise lines that have not had their do not disturb sign on during the day, and they've, you know, been greeted by their cabin host while they've been naked, or maybe not even naked, maybe they're doing some activity that they don't really want anyone to see, yeah, because they don't have their do not disturb sign on. So if you are, you know, chilling in your cabin, you know, at prime cleaning time, then make sure you put your do not disturb sign on. Your cleaning host does not want to see you naked or having sex, and I'm sure you don't want your cabin host to see you naked or having sex. So just put your do not disturb sign on and it will save everyone a lot of trouble. Number 5, also speaking about cabin hosts, try not to make a lot of mess in your cabin. Like, I know you're on vacation, but the cabin host's job is to clean, make sure everything is sanitized and smelling good. It is not to tidy, and there's a big difference, okay? Like, how is your cabin host meant to clean your room properly if there's shit all over the place, if there's clothes on the bed, and I'm talking about you know, a lot, if there's crap all over the floor, makeup all over the desk, because as well as for a cabin host, you never know what kind of client you're dealing with, so you never know whether they're going to be grateful that you've tidied up their stuff or whether they're going to be annoyed that you've touched their stuff. Do you know what I mean? So just to make it easier for yourself, but also for the cabin host, try to like be reasonably tidy so the cabin host can come and clean. Because as I said, it's not their job to tidy up your shit. It's their job to clean up your shit. So some cruise ships will have a little mini bar in the cabin. I mean, like a lot of hotels, you normally have a fridge that's stocked with like waters and candies and stuff. Just make sure that that's included. On Royal Caribbean, there was a few cabins that came with like a mini bar or a mini fridge full of stuff. And I mean, quite rightly, I guess, because it was in the cabin, there's a lot of people who were like, oh, well, this must be included. But as we all know, if you've ever stayed in a hotel before, if you raid the mini fridge, it can be quite an expensive hour spent. And that's what happens on cruise ships sometimes. You know, they assume that what's in the mini fridge is included. They go at it and then they get a very nasty shock at the end of their cruise when they get the bill through. So if you do have a mini fridge, or like you might even have a mini bar, have alcohol in your cabin, whatever, just ask your cabin host if this is actually included or whether you will be charged extra for it at the end of the cruise if you indulge. Number 7. So when you're on a cruise, most of the time you're going to be at sea. There's going to be nobody for miles. But when you are docked in port, you might find that you are docked right next to another ship. If you are, just make sure your curtains are closed. So my friend was cruising a few weeks ago, and she said I could tell this story. She was cruising a few weeks ago, and she woke up in the morning. She was slowly coming into port, but no one was there, nothing was there. She's still sea for miles. So she like opened the door to let some fresh air in, got in the shower, had a nice long shower, and then she got out of the shower and was just walking through the cabin, minding her own business, completely starkers. Looked up to see that there was a man looking in at her. It just so happened that this dock was very slim, so the ships seemed very close, were very close. So yeah, this man got an eyeful. This guy got an eyeful. Yeah, so she had to quickly close her door and close her curtains. So if you get up in the morning and you're still at sea and you're going to have a shower, then maybe just close the curtains just in case when you come out the shower you find that you're actually docked next to another cruise ship. Or better yet, when you come out of the bathroom, just cover yourself with a towel just in case. Number 8, don't hang things on the balcony. I cannot tell you how many times people have come to me and said, I washed my dress and I hung it out on the balcony and I forgot about it. Hung it out when we were in port, I forgot about it when we set sail, and now my dress is somewhere in the ocean. 1, it's not great for the ocean, and 2, she lost a really nice dress, and it happens all the time. So if you are going to hang things on the balcony, make sure you only do it while the ship is stationary, or even better, don't hang it on the railings, hang it on, like, normally balconies have a chair or a sunbed, put it on there, so at least if it like blows off, it might not blow overboard. But also in your cabin you should have a retractable washing line in your bathroom. Just, I know it'll take longer to dry, but you won't lose it, it's not going to blow anywhere. But yeah, that is something that happens quite a lot. Clothes go overboard, so just be careful after washing your stuff. Don't hang it on the railings. Number 9, so when you want to leave your cabin, make sure your balcony door is closed. It happened to me quite a lot during COVID. So a lot of you have seen my quarantine vlogs, you know, when COVID was a thing and I had to come on board and quarantine. And they would bring our like meals around. And I always had the balcony door open because I loved just getting the fresh air in. And I would open the front door to like get the meals, and this like wind tunnel would be created and everything would get blown over. The poor guy who was delivering my meal would almost get blown away. I would almost get blown away. So If you are going to leave your cabin, just make sure that you close your balcony door so that this wind tunnel isn't created and it doesn't destroy all of your things. Also, speaking of your balcony door being closed, if you are going to play music in your cabin, make sure your balcony door is closed. Not everybody wants to hear your music, and you might have music on and you might not think that your music is particularly loud, but they can probably still hear it. And if someone is like sunbathing on their balcony and then you're playing music in your cabin, they might not want to hear it. So just, if you're in your cabin, just close your balcony door so you're not like disturbing any of your other neighbours. It's just courteous. And also, it goes without saying, don't play loud music on your balcony. No one likes it. Again, when I was doing my quarantine vlogs, there was this guy like 3 doors down who would sit on his balcony and blare rap music. I love a bit of rap music, but I don't want it all day every day, and you can't get away from it because we were quarantining in these cabins. But the point is, not everyone likes the same music as you, so just be considerate when you are playing it in the cabin and just don't play it on the balcony. God, I sound like such a misery guts, don't I? Don't play your music. But you know what I mean. And then another thing about the balcony, do not smoke on the balcony. So on a cruise ship there are designated smoking areas, and your balcony is most likely not one of them. As I said earlier, the thing that crew members fear most on cruise ships is a fire, because it is the thing that is most likely to kill everyone. And of course, a cigarette can absolutely cause that. You know, if you have a smoke on your balcony and you don't put it out properly, or even worse, if you finish your cigarette and you throw the butt overboard, it gets sucked back into the ship and it's caused fires. There's so many, like if you go back and you look at fires that have happened on cruise ships, a scary amount of them is caused from people flicking their cigarette butt overboard and it getting sucked back into the ship. So don't smoke on your balcony. Also, just, you know, generally keeping people alive. But if you are found to have smoked on your balcony, you can be charged a lot of money. I think it's definitely over £1,000. It depends on the cruise line, of course, but it's a very hefty fee to try and deter you from it. Like, they don't want you to smoke on your balcony because it is so dangerous, which is why the fine is so high. And they also feel the same about vaping as well. So just, you know, if you want to vape, if you want to smoke, you have to go to the designated areas. And I know with vaping it's hard because on land vaping is like okay pretty much everywhere. I mean, people are smoking on their vapes like dummies nowadays. But if you're on a cruise ship, you have to go to the designated smoking area to smoke your vape. And then the last one, it goes without saying, I mean, I think it does, but don't climb on the railings because you might fall overboard. And again, you might be like, what? Like, obviously, people do silly things when they're drunk. People do really silly things when they're drunk. And yeah, climbing the railings is one. Don't do it, because you could fall overboard and you will die. You will die. Like, I mean, how many people do you know who have fell off a cruise ship and lived? I mean, apart from the woman in Bridesmaids. She's like, I fell off a cruise ship. Anyway, but yeah, if the impact doesn't kill you, then the temperature will, and it will take a while to rescue you. So I just wouldn't recommend climbing on the railings. But anyway, guys, that is the end of the video. So those are the 12 things that I wouldn't recommend doing in your cruise ship cabin while you are cruising. If you have enjoyed this video, let me know in the comments. If you have any questions for me, again, you can leave them in the comments, or you can DM me on Instagram, or you can get hold of me over on my website, where you are guaranteed a lengthy reply from myself. And also you can check out my career guides over on my website as well and let me know what you think. But I love you so much. I hope you have a fantastic rest of the day, and I will see you in the next video, guys. Bye. Mwah.